Alright, let's do this. The anime community is known for disagreeing on a lot of things, which shows are peak, which are mid, and should you subscribe to this channel.
The answer to that last one is yes.
But there are a few shows that the community can come together and faithfully say, this anime right here, this anime is a good show. Two anime have stood the test of time through haters, critics, and hype. These two have stood as anime at its best. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and Attack on Titan. In every bookstore, in every manga section, on every shelf, you are bound to find multiple copies of these two series. FMA Brotherhood, the #1 rated anime or top 5 anime on multiple worldwide sites, and Attack on Titan, the generation-defining masterpiece. Now that Attack on Titan is finally complete, because you guys know I wasn't reading the manga, I want to set out to find which anime, Brotherhood or the entirety of Attack on Titan, is truly the best, and which one truly deserves that #1 spot in the shonen demographic. Who is the true king of shonen?
To do this, I divided the competition up into a 6-point system. That's 1 point for who has the better characters, 2 points for who has the better story, and 3 points for, of course,
just for full transparency, I'm an anime-only viewer, so I'll be writing the character and story sections before I see the ending of the Attack on Titan anime. And of course, I'll be writing the section after I watch it. So if my tone changes at the end of the video, you know why. I don't think I need to tell you how important characters are to a series. We don't need likable characters to watch, but interesting characters to get the audience invested.
Yes, there is a difference, and Attack on Titan's central cast is a perfect example of this. The political battles between two nations whose dark sides keep harming the innocent creates some compelling narratives.
The first to come to mind is the character of Reiner.
That bitch.
A child soldier so fucked up, you almost feel bad for him, then you remember everything he did. We will never forget you, Marco. Reiner is not likable, but he is interesting to watch. He could be the main character of his own anime, and that goes for the entire cast as well. Armin, an actual likable character, eventually turns into a murderer himself, and even he has to remind characters in the show that he's not as kind as everyone paints him as.
You're so kind, Armin.
I've murdered children.
Come again?
Mikasa, Annie, Gabby, Coney, Jean, and the most famous of them all, the Jaeger man himself, Eren.
Eren is such an interesting MC, but not at first. We know that he's the protagonist of the story, but Eren's character seems to take a backseat to most of the plot until season 4, when you realize you've been watching Eren's descent into madness this entire time. Instead of Eren being captured, Eren is the one attacking. Instead of Eren being hunted, Eren becomes the hunter. Instead of Eren being left out of the loop, he now has all the knowledge. Even though I, or no one, should agree with his actions in season 4, you get it. And that's Attack on Titan's character writing at its core. You constantly watch these characters in a fight or flight mode, and they do horrible things, but you root for them anyway, besides Eren, because you get to see how they got there in the first place. It's this compelling writing that the apocalypse genre is known for, and Attack on Titan truly takes it to the next level. And yet, I don't think it beats FMA in this category. FMA not only has everything I described about Attack on Titan's character writing, but it also has a heartwarming nature to it. While AOT manages to tell a compelling survival story with its characters, FMA managed to do that and then some. AOT's characters give you a nuanced journey of despair, and FMA's characters give you the same thing but also a nuanced journey of hope. No, I'm not saying that a more hopeful character is inherently better than one that isn't. I just think that audiences can pull more from FMA's characters, giving it an edge over AOT. You don't even have to look at the Elric brothers.
Roy Mustang challenges a corrupt military regime, suffering the similar fate as bitch boy Reiner, but his character also shows a man trying to change the system with what little power he has. Riza Hawkeye is a soldier through and through who lives with her guilt, but she doesn't use it as an excuse to stop moving forward. Hughes, Armstrong, Olivier, Gar, Winry, Hohenheim, Izumi, and of course, the fan favorite Homunculus. They give you hope, despair, sadness, love, excitement, pain, suffering, just a bunch of emotions.
And no, I'm not saying Attack on Titan doesn't give you the message of hope, but it's a different kind of hope. AOT's characters are most likely to work with what they have, doing their best to live for future generations, but FMA's characters fundamentally try to change the system for themselves, their circumstances leading them to be more selfish in that regard. FMA gets 1 point. The story is by far going to be the hardest part of this video to judge because both of these animes have incredible stories.
In fact, it is the story that makes these franchises so critically acclaimed.
Fullmetal Alchemist is an incredibly well-written story, but I think it stands out because it manages to connect all its plot points and characters without a structure. Let me cook.
For most anime, there's not only a goal, but a structure. You know Kurasuno will compete in the tournaments. You know Sugimoto and Ashirpa will find that treasure. And you know that Riko and Reg will make it to the next layer. This isn't a bad thing, and it doesn't mean the author can't throw in large curveballs, huge plot twists, character deaths, and unexpected turnouts, but it does mean we know what to expect.
FMA Brotherhood has no structure like this. So much so that it's kind of hard to break the series down into arcs because the series feels like one big long arc. And I believe this is what keeps the story so fresh to new and old fans alike. This 64 episode anime that concludes is one sweet deep for modern anime fans. No shade to the story arc structure, but being able to invest in a non-stop flowing story has its benefits. It's clear to anyone who watches this show that Arakawa had this all planned out from the jump and just had to draw it. But it doesn't stand on its own. This may be a hot take, but I believe new fans should watch 2003 anime before Brotherhood. Don't just say read the manga. We're talking about the anime here. Yeah, I caught you. Stop typing. Because the first 10 episodes of Brotherhood is a much more fast-paced story. Since Studio Bones knew at the time, anime fans had already seen the first part of the manga well adapted. And if you watch the 2003 show first, you'll see just that. The fast pacing of Brotherhood's start won't bother you because you've already been here before. In fact, you'll welcome the quick review.
And for those of you saying I can't take points off due to the franchise having multiple adaptations, once again, I'm mainly comparing the animes.
On the flip side, AOT does follow the story arc structure. Throughout Attack on Titan, you know that Eren and them will eventually uncover the secrets of the basement. And when they do, boy is it one of the greatest reveals in anime history. Not only did this reveal absolutely live up to the hype, but it was at this point that I think Attack on Titan placed itself among the greats. Because the audience realized that the apocalyptic survival story that they thought they were watching is actually a political drama epic that has been right under your nose this entire time. Seriously, go back and watch the early episodes of Attack on Titan. You'll catch so many foreshadowing moments, clues, pieces of dialogue. Isayama literally spelled it out for us without showing us at the same time. This misdirection and copious amounts of others that follow after is what leads to Attack on Titan's current fame. Yes, this anime was huge when it came out, but it became fucking amazing after season 3. I know so many Attack on Titan haters, the other OTR members, Mark and Shaman, that turned a new leaf after experiencing season 3. Both stories are amazing, and I could go on for days praising them, but I believe it's how these stories are told that will come down to who gets the points. And even though I love FMA's endless flow, I have to give it to AOT for absolutely using the arc structure to its utmost benefit and successfully flipping the script on its audience. AOT gets 2 points.
I am never trusting manga readers again because you guys really had the whole anime community believing this was going to be the worst ending imaginable, and it was far from it.
But it wasn't perfect, and I can see why some people may have some issues with it. For me, I had 2 major problems. The first is that it's kind of hard to understand, at least from an anime-only point of view.
This is the part where I backtrack and actually thank manga readers because without their 2 years of digesting and researching this series after the official manga ended, I wouldn't have been able to look up a bunch of explained videos and Twitter threads that explained to me some of the confusing parts.
Like, what exactly was the life form that attached to Ymir that gave her the Titan powers, and why the hell was Ymir waiting for Mikasa of all people? But now that I get it, and for those who don't, the life form that attached to Ymir can be interpreted as a wish-granting being that gave her the powers and bodies she desired. And she would stay with the king because of Stockholm Syndrome, and she fell in love with him, being unable to do the right thing and cast her emotions aside. Until she saw Mikasa do just that when she killed Eren. Basically, seeing Mikasa do the right thing and kill Eren despite her intense love for him showed Ymir that love, especially toxic love, isn't the end-all be-all, and it is possible to move past that.
Which leads me to my second problem. Are you kidding me?
Love is a great message, but it's how this great message is shown that truly matters. Why the hell does Ymir love the king? Yes, you could say Stockholm Syndrome, but that's not explored. It's shown to us in brief flashbacks. We don't get to really see what's in her mind. What exactly made her fall in love with her captive, to the fact that she's been serving him and his descendants for hundreds of years? Why was her love,
if you can actually call it
that strong? This is a little reminiscent of a harem anime trope where the girl is in love with the guy because he was nice to her once. Except we don't actually see the king be nice to Ymir, like, at all, so it's, worse? A deeper dive and maybe some words from Ymir herself would really drive the message of toxic love home. Or exclude it entirely. Although I don't agree, Ymir had several reasons to hate humanity and do what she did. It's even implied in her talk with Eren when she gave him the power to start the rumbling that she was just tired of being a victim. She was tired of being submissive. She wanted this twisted version of freedom. So why was love even needed? The fact that she would simply stop because Mikasa, one person, overcame what she could not feels to me like, wow, that's all it took, huh? But Ymir aside, seeing the rest of the characters reach a proper ending, that epic final battle that had me at the edge of my seat, Levi being that dude one last time, and the last credit sequence that leaves me wanting more while accepting that it's over, I found quite enjoyable.
Regardless of whether I agree with how things were characterized and who was right and who was wrong, Attack on Titan still manages to be one hell of a journey that I wish I could go back all the way through and re-experience for the first time. Meanwhile, and I can already see people hating on my subjective opinion, FMA's ending is perfect.
I honestly sat through it once more and tried to find things I didn't like, but honestly, there is nothing. Is FMA a perfect series? No. I literally listed some of its flaws in the story section of this video. But the ending might just be. For the ending to be perfect, it has to match the tone of the series and reach a conclusion satisfying for fans. If you don't do that, then you end up with Wonder Egg Priority. Don't get me started. You could argue that FMA and AOT both do that, and they do. Both endings give a satisfying conclusion to most of the characters, and they don't hit you with unrealistic expectations of world peace. But let's look at both climactic scenes. Mikasa kills Eren and Ed giving up his alchemy.
The FMA scene doesn't have the problems with the characterization of love I had with the Attack on Titan scene. Both scenes are about love, of course, Ed's love for his brother and the friends he made on the journey, and of course I've already explained Ymir and Mikasa. But if we are going to compare the two scenes, let's look at the observers of the scenes, Ymir and the Truth, both watching these displays of love happen. The difference between these two characters is
the Truth isn't a character at all. It's a concept, the concept of the core themes of the show, equivalent exchange. We don't need a backstory on the Truth because it's only a manifestation of the concept we've been watching this entire time. So long as Ed adheres to that concept, giving up all his knowledge of alchemy, the power system of this world for his brother and all the people he loves, it makes sense. While Ymir is a whole other character, a character who's incredibly important to the story that we don't get to explore nearly as much as we should, at least in the anime, to avoid her feeling more like a plot device than an actual character.
Even if you don't compare Ymir to the Truth, there isn't a single character essential to FMA's plotline left as unexplored as Ymir is in AOT. And it's not just Ymir, really. There are several plot points left up to interpretation or just plain out unexplained.
Leaving things up to interpretation is fine. Leaving things essential to the story up to interpretation is where I draw the line. I'm saying we needed more from AOT's ending, and we got just enough from FMA's. Attack on Titan and FMA Brotherhood are both incredible anime, and if you haven't seen them, why are you watching this video? These two shows are without a doubt some of the best the shonen demographic has to offer and some of the best anime has to offer. I'm sure a bunch of people can refute or agree with the things I said in this video, or maybe you had other things you did or didn't like about either show, but maybe that's the beauty of both these series.
The fact that the community can have an in-depth discussion with multiple perspectives about these works of fiction shows that they stuck with us, that they mean something to us, that they impacted us. In a sense, these discussions are our way of showing love to both these titles.
So, thank you Isayama, thank you Arakawa, but in the end, I have to choose a winner. 3 points to FMA Brotherhood, the undisputed king. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and hey, if you want to discuss another anime masterpiece, there's a Made in Abyss video right there for you to click. Thank you so much to our Patreons who got to watch this video early, and subscribe if you like anime and follow our socials. As always, my friends, Marjorie Lane, this has been On the Rise.